What should your long-term business plan look like? So first you start your first location independent business that sets you free from your 9-to-5 job, gets you location independent, all that good stuff. But then what? So what's the long-term plan? With AI, with your own business structures, how do you handle this? First of all, this is a lot more complicated now because of AI. And it's very hard to predict the near future because of the changes that's going to occur with AI. So we have to factor that into what we're doing, right? So first, let me start off by the Alpha 2.0 business model I've been teaching forever, is that long-term, not immediately, but long-term, what you should have, in my opinion, is 2 to 4 small, niched, high-margin businesses that have nothing to do with each other. 2 to 4. No more than 4, please. Don't be a maniac. But at least 2. And the reason for that is, and the businesses should have nothing to do with each other. And the reason for that is, if one business fails, or AI makes it irrelevant, or it becomes illegal, or whatever the hell, you're pissed off, but you're okay. You still make money. So years ago, for many years, my business structures are more complicated today. But years ago, I had 3 businesses. I had my, oops, I just kicked my own keyboard with my hand. Can you kick something with your hand? Probably not. I had my consulting practice, which started out as an IT consulting business, then morphed into a time management consulting business, then finally morphed into a strategic planning and productivity consulting business. So it was a professional consulting practice. That was my first business. Made a lot of money doing that, okay? Then I had my Alpha Male 2.0 business, teaching men dating skills on the internet. I had that business. Then I had a third company called CCM, where I trained on-site IT consulting companies on how to get clients. Right? It was a marketing service. So I had these 3 companies. Do any of those companies have anything to do with each other? No. What does teaching guys how to get laid with ebooks have to do with corporate consulting for productivity? Nothing. And that was the point. So I had these 3 companies that were very different. They were all making money. They were all selling high margin services, which is what I talked about. They weren't selling low margin stuff. Consulting's very high margin. Books and courses, high margin. Marketing services, high margin. All very high margin, but they had nothing to do with each other. So what ended up happening? Well, the pandemic hit and suddenly no one could go anywhere. So my CCM business, my clients suddenly couldn't go on site and fix problems. They had to do them all remotely, which caused a bunch of complications. So I shut that business down. Now, was I upset? Yes, a little bit. However, my other 2 companies, my consulting company and my Alpha 2.0 business, skyrocketed during the pandemic. So I was fine. I lost one of my businesses, more or less, but I didn't care. That's how this works. Instead of having one business, you own a restaurant, and then the pandemic comes, and now you can't pay your bills. You don't want this. Not good. Now, I said long-term. Not, I'm not saying go start 3 companies right now. Start 1 company at a time. Get 1 company spin up to a certain amount of revenue per month. You can set that goal. I'll start my second company when I make $2,000 a month, or $10,000 a month, or $25,000 a month, or $1,800 a month, whatever it is. You decide. You put that on maintenance mode, you start the second company. You don't start them all at the same time. And I love the excuses I get. Well, Elon Musk, you're not Elon Musk, and neither am I. You're not a superhuman. Elon Musk is a superhuman. He's not an alpha male. He's a superhuman. You're not Elon Musk. 1 company at a time. It might take you several years to ramp up to 2 to 4 businesses, and that's okay. Make sense? So that's the first thing. Second thing is, all these companies need to be narrowly niched. All my companies were niched except my consulting business, because that was a grandfather business I started a long time ago. So you don't violate the other rules I talk about when you start a business or an income stream. Niche. And frankly, long-term, what you should do, and I've done this, and I could have done this better. I should be more niche than I am, but I'm still pretty niched, is that over time, you start with a niche and you narrow into the niche as you continue with your business. So you might start with, I don't know, I'm going to make it up. You might start with tennis court manufacturers, tennis product manufacturers in the United States. I don't know, I've just made that up. Don't do that, please, okay? And that's your niche. And over time, you narrow down to a certain type of tennis manufacturer. You get more and more narrow as you grow. What you think you want to do is you get more broad as you grow. No, you should narrow down as you grow. I mean, my Alpha 2.0 business, I still have it, but that should be more narrowly niched. That business technically should be, instead of how any guy can date multiple women long-term, which is what the business is now, What that business should be now is how divorced men over 45 can get back on the horse in their dating life. That's what it should be. Now, it's not, but that's what it should be. So you want to continue to narrow as you go. This also protects you from AI. The more narrow you are, the more niched you are, the more resilient you are against AI. Are you 100% AI proof? No. The only way to do that is have a personal online brand. By the way, that's also important. So something that will protect you from AI long-term is having a brand. So one of the reasons I'm pretty safe as compared to most people, if AI takes over and does everything, is I have a brand. So that'll also help. So in addition to your building your 2 to 4 businesses, you should start thinking about, even if you don't want to, how can I brand this online as a personal brand? Very important. But I don't want to have a personal brand. I don't want anyone to know who I am. Top for another time. But I'm just saying this will help you long-term with AI. Next thing is you need to prepare for AI and what is coming. So you need to double down into LLMs, AI automations, and then anything new coming on, you need to be aware of this world. You need to spend a few hours a week in the AI world so that you won't be swiped away when AI comes. I went through this in the 90s. I watched people do this. I watched normal blue-collar workers and a lot of white-collar workers like technical support representatives on the phone, helping people with their computers on the phone, because that's what I was in the early 90s. They all got wiped out when America and the West outsourced all this stuff to India and to Southeast Asia. You don't want, and there were a lot of unhappy people in the early 90s. It was bad. You don't want to be one of these people where all of a sudden AI replaces you and you're like, well, what do I do? No, prepare now in your business for AI. By the way, you can use AI to help you with this. Hey, AI, I have a location-independent business that does this to this particular niche. Ideally, consulting or a business service to this narrow niche. And this is the service I provide, this is the consulting I provide, this is the problem I help them with. What kind of risks am I exposed to as AI increases over the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years? And how can I mitigate or offset those risks? And have it tell you. But figure this out now. Don't get blindsided by this later. That's stupid. Make sure that you are prepared for what is coming. It's the same reason why you have multiple businesses with multiple income streams. You're prepared for what is coming. And as I've talked about many times, many years ago, several years ago, the entire Western world, the next phase of Western collapse, we have entered in a dark age, a political, cultural, and economic dark age. Not a technological dark age, but political, cultural, and economic. And this is going to last at least a decade, probably more. So you need to be prepared for this. Instead of just starting your business and, oh, good, I'm making money now. How are you going to make that same money 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now, when America is even worse, when Canada is even worse, when the UK is even worse, and AI is, put 100 million people out of work? By the way, there's opportunities there too. How can I use the collapse of the West / the AI takeover to make money? This business, Unchained CEO, makes a lot of money because America is collapsing, because people are trying to get out of the United States. Yeah, so instead of going, oh, this is terrible, I miss America, which I do. I miss 1986. I do miss it. But I'm making money on the collapse instead of bitching and moaning about the collapse or voting for people like Trump to fix it and be my daddy and wave a magic wand and fix all my problems for me, which of course is going to happen. So make sure you sit down and strategize on paper or on a laptop or whatever, what your long-term plan is for your business. Not just, I need to make money now to quit my job. Yes, focus on that first. By the way, don't be a Lissig. Don't sit there and plan the next 3 months. Don't fucking do that. That's the problem with most of you fuckers. Get into action, get on the phone, find your niche, get your clients, get that done. But in addition to that, a little bit, you need to have some strategic planning in terms of where you're going long term. So action, 80, 90%, planning 20 to 10%. Most of you fuckers are planning 95% and 0 to 5% action, and you're just going to be fucked. Don't do that. But that's how you want to plan out the next several years so that you're not blindsided by things that most people get blindsided by, especially with what's... I can't even talk, especially with what is coming. Be prepared.